In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters, every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else. Your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS Ground Advantage. We mean business.
Guys, by now you've heard me talk about Collars & Co., makers of the dress collar polo. They've already sold over 1 million of these amazing shirts. Well, Collars & Co. just came out with the new Maverick Performance Blazer. This blazer is sharp and wrinkle resistant, so you can travel anywhere with it. Just throw it in your bag and it will remain wrinkle-free. It even comes with security zip pockets, a sunglasses loop, and an optional pocket square. So visit collarsandco.com and use code TIKI for 20% off at collarsandco.com.
Heyo, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL show. Dan Hanzus here with the lawn shredder, Marc Sessler.
Oh, please.
Conor Orr. Honest question, Mark. Do you know what that sound is?
I get what a lawnmower is. Again, I reiterate that I've mowed lawns hundreds of times in the past. I was going for a different outdoor device.
I kid. We're having fun. It's day 3 of the NFL draft.
Dallas.
Justin Graver, of course,
Dallas.
on the ones and twos.
9/11, baby.
And everybody's feeling fun and happy and excited because your team is nailing its draft. In fact, I think it's the seasons, right? There's the seasons of life. There's the actual seasons in terms of weather. The NFL seasons as well. Like, what time of year is it? Oh, it's Howie's done it again season. It's well, guess what? Andrew Berry's a genius season. It's, Mike Mayock out there somewhere super pissed people aren't taking the 7th round serious enough. Like, all is new, all is familiar, and there's a freshness to the NFL landscape.
There really is. And it's a special weekend for those that cover the game, too, because you feel a turning point in your own personal lives. But you're right. It is a crescendo of, the media has been up its own butt for 3 weeks. Decision makers are getting far too much face time and attention, considering that the vast majority of their decision making will become a complete and utter disaster within 2.5 to 3 years. But forget all that. It's the debutante ball this weekend.
I'm looking forward to undrafted free agency, which is extraordinarily stupid. And the reason why is because when I used to cover a team on a day-to-day basis, a beat writer, when you're 21, 22, 23, agents leak all the big stuff to all the big boys. And then it's Conor Orr time when he's 21, 22, when Johnny Mick, who gives a the wide receiver out of Colorado Wesleyan signs on the Jets practice squad. And that's your one thing that you get to tweet all day. And I've never lost the zeal for it. And so I am actively looking for undrafted free agent information right now because there's something seriously wrong with me.
While we tape.
That's another trope of the season, which is, some GM in his post-draft press conference, we couldn't wait until, pick 275 so we can get on the phone, get on the horn, and call the guy that we really wanted. He's like, well, yeah, all right. You know what? I'm going to not be cynical. Sounds good. Maybe he is going to be an all-time great. Where are we right now in real time? Justin, where are we in the draft right now as we record live? And shout out to everybody jumping on the stream as we start to build up in Hedonists.
It's a great question. We're currently in a commercial break.
Thank you.
No, 6th round, pick 7 of the 6th round, 188 overall. The New York Jets just selected Inez Cooper, guard out of Miami. Fun story about Inez Cooper. He called Cam Ward on Thursday night of last year's draft.
I don't
to
care.
congratulate
No, we
him.
don't care. We don't care.
Now, 1 year later, here he is.
Could not care less.
Getting picked by your Jets, Dan.
Yep. I don't care. I mean, if the proof's in the pudding there, still don't care.
Dan and day 3 of the draft are not a natural made in heaven romantic pairing. Nor are they. Nor is that day with any of us. But
I love football. It's why we've been doing this for so long. We love the sport, but like get me to mandatory minicamp. Give me full rosters. Let's effing go, baby. And this is the last step. But I do respect that dreams are coming true. It's the most optimistic time on the calendar. So here we go. Let's get into it. I have so many Polynesian last names to like lock down between now and week 1. You know, like the Samoans are out there. They're like, dang, get it right. So there's a little pressure.
Well, you took a little heat for that, but people don't have to do what you're doing. They can sit on it and search up like name pronunciation on YouTube. And it's like, let's pronounce this name. But you have to do it in real time as the picks coming in. And I think we have to recognize that's a tougher task.
Listen, I'm working on it. We're getting there. I will be ready. It's like somebody who got who signed a contract and then got the big surgery immediately after. Like, yeah, should be ready for week 1. That's where I'd put my pronunciation of the Samoans out there. So shout out to everybody. All right. This is what we're going to do today. We are going to hand out some awards. It's draft awards. We're each going to throw out a few, and we'll hit on reaction to everything that's happened over the past 3 days. Anything that we don't talk about in this awards conversation, we'll hit in the back end of the show with a little odds and ends. Does that sound like a plan for this live stream? Of course, we also have the stream ongoing. An example of the commentary out there, Dan loves to be a prick. So that type of trenchant commentary is the stuff we're looking for. And shout out to everybody.
Don't forget that I'm an asshole.
Yes. Shout out to everybody that was with us on Thursday night and everybody who's rejoined us or is new. Jump in, and we will also check in with you guys periodically. But let's get into it. So as we're here in the 6th round, the draft is winding down, but the storylines have come into focus, and it's time to go over what really jumped out in these 3 days. And Connor, why don't you get us going with the first award?
All right, thanks, guys. This award, something that everybody's been talking about, but let's get into it. It's called the My Dad's Not Mad at Me Award. He's just spending a lot of time in the basement using his punching bag alone.
My dad is not mad at me. He's just spending a lot of time in the basement hitting the punching bag alone. All right, so let's try to take a guess at who this is about. Mark, any ideas?
Well, it sounds like someone, if it's a child figure or an offspring, like they're kind of denying their actual feelings, but it's someone that's been through something and trying to make it not look like they were entirely, but we can see it.
I'm going to take a wild guess because I know there's a lot of spin going on right now, but I got a feeling in the basement, Sean McVay's pretty pissed off.
I think that's good.
Well done.
We got it. All right, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. All right, congratulations.
Ty Simpson.
All right, let's talk about the Rams situation because we did touch on it in real time on Friday, and now, of course, here we are. A lot of digital ink has been written about the press conference. Do we have any of that, Justin? What do we have in terms of the initial reaction from McVay? Do we have that?
Yeah, we got McVay on Thursday night at the podium. We got McVay on Friday night at the podium. And we got McVay on ESPN talking to Kyle Brandt. Which one do you want first?
All right, let's hear the initial one that got everybody buzzing with his demeanor Thursday night.
Yeah, I did. I'll keep that between us. We'll see. He's going to compete with Stetson.
Oh, my goodness. And then for a little more clarity before we go back to Connor, now once it became a story that McVay seemed to not be totally on board with the Ty Simpson pick at 13, a quarterback with Matt Stafford, the MVP on the roster, and a Super Bowl ready team that could have used a premium impact talent in 2026. Kyle Brandt tried to get into what that was all about, and then get ready, buddy. Get ready for the spin cycle. Don't get dizzy.
This is a safe space. What was going on with you that night?
Well, there was some other things I was grumpy about that, you just navigate normally. But I think the main thing, Kyle, was you just wanted to make sure that I would have been stoic by nature anyways, just based on the respect for Matthew, because it's a unique situation. You get a chance to be able to, take a player that you like at a really important position, but you don't want it to be minimized or misunderstood in terms of what this means in terms of our investment and our commitment to Matthew for as long as he wants to continue to play. And so you're kind of teetering that line, and clearly, I came off a little grumpier than normal.
Oh my God, my bullshit detector is ringing in the ears, Connor.
Yeah, I texted someone who has been in that kind of Rams world, and I was like, what's your take on this? And he said, been there, less trying to be the smartest guy in the room and then pissing off Sean and Stafford in the process. Not great. I think that's ultimately the takeaway on this. Les has the connection to Ty Simpson's dad. I think Sean wanted to maximize Matthew Stafford's window. And as I wrote on Thursday, Sean can, in perpetuity, get the best available veteran quarterback to play for him in any given situation. And so when Stafford's time is up, maybe Baker Mayfield's done with the Buccaneers, and then he just goes over to the Rams for 2 years. Maybe when Stafford's done, maybe it's Joe Burrow. Who knows? But everyone will always want to play for Sean. Sean is one of those guys that doesn't want to develop a rookie quarterback. He wants to win Super Bowls. He doesn't have time. Nobody has time to develop a rookie quarterback. And so I think the expression was very much like, you can do this, Les, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to act like how I'm going to act. So it's going to come back on you.
I think it's like even Jordan Rodriguez, who knows the Rams as well as anyone. I loved what she wrote in The Athletic. She called it just about as hubristic as it gets in terms of that move at that space for this team. This is a team that was linked to trading for A.J. Brown at one point in this offseason, right? That didn't happen. But the point is, we all get it. The Rams think they're on the doorstep of a Super Bowl appearance, that there's really no difference if they pick the right players between them and the Seahawks. And what does Ty Simpson do for you this year, right now? And what does it do for Sean McVay? I mean, I get that Les Snead is friends with the father and all that's great, but like, again, you could have taken this player at a much different place in this draft. So that's where the word hubristic to me comes in. Like, are you just smarter than all the rest of us? And like, when you laughed at Belichick and the Patriots pick when they took Cole Strange, I think it was a couple of years ago. Well, I think people are looking at you right now and saying, are you a little over your skis? You took a tight end in round 2 when you've got a stock tight end room. It's been a weird draft for the Rams, and they get the benefit of the doubt. But at what point, like, their coach doesn't seem to be, his body language was one of the bigger stories of the weekend right there.
I think it goes even beyond, Mark, just like the timing of the pick. It is the very clear disconnect between a GM and head coach that previously we thought were locked at the hip, and also kind of the model for how to run an organization. And, a bunch of Rams fans in my town, I'm always seeing the dads out and about for Little League, and everybody was kind of scratching their head trying to figure out how we could be in a situation where Sean McVay has never had a conversation with Ty Simpson before the draft. And I don't want to be too melodramatic about it, but I just want to get ahead of this a little bit, like a flashpoint focus. Like, if things do go sideways for the Rams, and this ends with Sean McVay doing TV and a little timeout a couple of years from now after Stafford leaves, you might be able to draw a direct line back to draft night 2026. I think it has that type of ramifications because it shows in a very public way, Connor. I thought it showed a disrespect for Sean McVay, who has every right to be like, I'm the guy that is making everything go here. And Les, don't you forget that you were in the proverbial gutter before I brought this team back to relevance. So Snead, like the hubris that I sense and that Jordan's writing about, that's how I see it. Like it's Les Snead forgetting how this thing came together, and it didn't happen until McVay was the coach, which obviously Snead played a role in him landing there in the first place. But yeah, keep an eye on this, not just in the short term, but in the long term in terms of their relationship. It was stunning, really was.
Yeah, and I think even in the subtext of it, right, because there was the terseness of it, but then if you delved into actually what McVay was saying, he chose his words very carefully, and he didn't compliment Simpson at all. He didn't use his name until like the third or fourth time that he addressed him, and you could say that that's because you don't want to get Matt Stafford fired up, but like McVay wasn't afraid of playing chicken with his contract last year and courting other quarterbacks. Like, I don't think this is just a Stafford thing. This is a like, hey, I bailed you out by rescuing Jared Goff. I bailed you out with his Super Bowl thing, and I don't want to deal with the fallout of this because I could have used a guard, I could have used a running back, I could have used a wide receiver, but we'll see. And the other thing, I'll just say the last part of this that I'm not buying is that they said that McVay never spoke with him because having McVay speak with him would have indicated that the best coach in the NFL was interested, which would have flocked a bunch of teams to Ty Simpson.
Stop.
I mean, come on, man. Like,
we just got out of a different controversy that we'll get to in a little bit, where it's like, don't pee down my leg and tell me it's raining. Like, everyone knows what's happened here, and the fallout could be catastrophic for the Rams. And again, just to add balance to it, because sometimes we in the media get over our skis, or Ty Simpson takes over for an injured Matthew Stafford later this season and balls out, or next year he takes over and he's a really good player. And this will all seem as, well, this is why checks and balances are important in an organization, and Les nailed this one. But I tend to go back to the idea of, like, I think Sean McVay has to be the grand poobah in the organization, and at the very least sign off on these moves. And a shout out to Kyle and Schrager and ESPN and NFL Network for coordinating with the Rams to try to put a little PR spin on this on the last day of the draft. But again, like, the evidence is there. There was something, what I liked about it, Mark, it was very human. It was like, Sean McVay was angry, and then you put him in front of the media that night, and he was unable, despite his perhaps better judgment would have helped him out here, to be able to be the good soldier. He was too angry in that moment. If I think if nothing else, they should have said that Sean McVay was sick, but that probably would have caused ripples as well. It's just, how about don't pick the guy that your head coach and the architect of your team doesn't approve of necessarily?
Yes, and I think that Les Snead and Sean McVay, as a duo, are better PR focused and have done a better job with Rams PR and their messaging and their unity than any duo in the league. Bottom line. And like, if you were to rank like the moments where maybe you'd question that, like, there really only is one, and it's this one, and it's from this weekend. And like, McVay said something else was going on in his life, and that's very possible. We just don't know. I have a theory what it might be, but it has to do, I don't want to go down that road, but like, I would just say that, look, well, his name has been floated out there in conjunction with the biggest media story of the month. And is there any heat there that he wants to temper down from a PR angle? And if you don't know what the biggest sports media story of the month is, then welcome to being awake on April 25th after missing the last 4 weeks of life. But I know that his name's mixed into that a little bit. I'm just saying, I don't know. But why do you come out that unhinged after what should be a victorious night where you're on the same page? It was the most un-Rams-like response that I can recall from those two.
Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. All right, Mark, you got another award?
I do. Here we go. The award is giggled about as little ponies and petunias. We aren't as banged up our own butt openings as everyone would like to assume. We're woke. We get the way this works all once again, and we're climbing out of the dead bed. We understand culture.
I was wondering how that was going to fit in a lower third, and my God, he did it. Yeah.
Actually, before the show, Justin hit me up. He's like, hey, just a heads up, like, Mark, they're wordy, as you might guess. And I was like, just let it rip. The audience understands that it's probably going to go. It's going to be a paragraph.
You're just probably glad that Justin didn't have me on that's how I'm talked about behind the scenes. Wordy.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that your lower third is going to. It's not going to be. Let's put it this way: if Mark is writing an award, it's not going to be like 3 words, most likely.
No.
Yeah.
Well, what's
As Jamie
the award
in the chat checks in classic Mark nonsense title. Now, I wouldn't call it nonsense, but I would say it's verbose.
No, there's something here. Yeah.
Let's
openings.
Connor, I want you to break this one down. Let's guess this one. We're 1 for 1.
Okay. I'm going
to read it again. Giggled about as little ponies and petunias, petunias like a flower, right?
Yes, of course.
We aren't as banged up our own butt openings. Can we just, we're going to pull openings out and post as everyone would like to assume we're woke. Okay. Save it for the USA Patreon special, Mark. We get the way that this works. We're climbing out of the dead bed. We understand culture. Okay. I think I know, but I'll let Conor go with this one.
Once I saw Little Ponies and Petunias, I went straight to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, this is obviously the Browns, yes.
Yeah. The Cleveland is having what the public will consider a great draft, and we can get into that a little bit. And so I think that some of these Browns fans, this is their time of year to kind of march out of the little dung pile and say, everything is going to be better, so I'm happy for him. This is good.
Yeah, no, Mark, as a Jets fan, I will never say don't be excited about the draft. I would just say, and people can make us, I haven't had a chance to peruse a lot of winners and losers columns yet, but I would imagine the Jets will be seen by some as a winner as well. And I hope so. Again, we took 3 first-rounders, for Christ's sake. We traded up. We got, the guy at 50, the cornerback that people like. Like, I feel good about it too, but there is a familiar whiff to all this. And then sometimes I think to myself, wait a second, Andrew Berry's still the GM of the Browns? How the hell did he survive this?
Right. I think you're right. And I get what was forming in the mind over the weekend. 2 points. If you take away the worst trade in sports, Andrew Berry
Which you can't.
Well, I know you can't.
That's one of the greatest qualifiers I've ever heard in discourse.
I don't like it, and I'm still stuck with the results of that, as are all Browns fans, and as are sports watchers in general. But if you were to look beyond the results beyond that, I would say that Andrew Berry last year had arguably the first or second best draft in the league with the way things turned out on the field, and they were in a position to play a lot of young players. To get Spencer Fano and Austin Barber at tackle, and then you get Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston at wide receiver. I do think that the Cleveland Browns found a way, and we'll see if it works, where need intersected with value. Like, that's an annoying term and it's on its own, but like they didn't, everyone's saying like these players came to them. They didn't like reach for anyone. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, like that is someone that people saw in the first round. But I want to say one quick thing and then I'll just leave it to you guys. Like, I understand that because he missed the coach's photo that Todd Monken was laughed at and giggled at like a pony and a petunia. Every time I hear this guy talk, he is winning me over a little bit more. He just seems like he doesn't have a lot of time for typical Cleveland bullshit. Justin, throw this one clip up. This happened after the draft when Monken was like, can we talk about the players we just picked? Here we go.
This is mini camp, just the first one, obviously. So can you kind of share how did Deshaun and Shador and Dylan look in camp? Now you got all.
We just couldn't get past the draft and get right on to back to the quarterback. Anybody got some Miles questions too while we're at it? I mean, hell.
So they're like the first question was about Shador Sanders at like their soft camp they had before the draft. He's like, what are we doing here? I'm not doing quarterback questions. I'm not doing Myles Garrett. I think Todd Monken has just been like, to me, an old school type presence and a complete change agent from the soft answers that Kevin Stefanski offered towards the end of his collapse in Cleveland. And I like it.
Yeah, I wish we would have played longer that clip because I think you would give you a better idea of kind of his demeanor. I didn't know I know Todd Monken is a figure in the NFL, but a guy in front of the mic. It makes me think like the Todd Monken era, this is what I think about it, Mark. I think the Todd Monken era and his level, like the kind of throwback head coach, leader of men masculinity that he's thrown out there, could either be the best thing for the Browns in this moment, or it could be catastrophic if things go as they tend to go with the Browns and the season gets really ugly and the media closes in on him. It might lead to him not holding his tongue, and that'll be entertaining for the rest of us. It might not be for Marc Sessler and Browns fans, but I think there is something to be said anytime you have a figure. We talk about this on the show all the time. A head coach like Mike McDaniel in Miami, for instance, who's not afraid to give actual answers. And Mary Kay Cabot is the one that asked that question, like where she was trying to spin it back to Shador Sanders and Deshaun Watson. And he was like, he wasn't afraid to go at like the most prominent media member covering the Browns and being like,
right,
come on, chill out and let us enjoy this weekend and this moment and what we feel was a very positive draft. So I hope that the Browns did nail the draft. I mean, again, what I get, my detector goes off a little bit, Connor. Like, I feel like we talk about this a lot around this time of year, and then every year we're back to 3-14 or whatever. But maybe there's a core coming together. They still don't have a quarterback unless you believe in Shedeur Sanders, but that's something they can get next year.
Yeah. I think the Browns, and so I have two parts to this. One, Andrew Berry has discovered the Howie Roseman formula, which is essentially when you're up, to draft like Mel Kiper's best available so that no one will ever say it was your fault that the team's not good. And he has become extremely good at that over the last couple of years, where it's just like, wow, this draft class, when in reality, it's like, this is like the best person on Dane Brugler's The Beast that's still not been drafted yet, right? And I think that goes to my like Cleveland ethos in general, which is like, this team is good in the way that people who like play FIFA can appreciate, because it's like they're doing all the administrative stuff right. It's like, oh wow, we traded a draft pick for cash, or like, oh wow, I just bought like a 9-year-old boy out of Sweden to lead my soccer team in goals, or whatever you pervs do on FIFA.
I mean,
but
what are
like,
we doing here?
And then like when it comes to the actual product on the field, like there's no grist there. There's no actual meat inside of the hot pocket. And so I think until I see that, until I bite into it and I feel it, I'm just going to reserve judgment.
That's totally fair, right? That's totally fair.
But it's also cool to be able to look at your team and be like, wow, he did the Howie Roseman move, which Roseman's been praised over repeatedly, just taking the best player available, and that's worked out well for the Eagles roster. What could go wrong with the Browns?
Absolutely nothing.
All right, I'll do one, and then we'll take our first break. Let's see. I really want to stump you guys. I want you guys to not have a chance. I want you guys to be all jacked up in the brain. Here we go. This is is there an ill-advised war I could start in the Middle East award? Is there an ill-advised war I can start in the Middle East award? Goes to... Go ahead, guys. Talk it out. In the chat, jump in. What do you guys think?
So, Mark, my take on this is a team that is in free fall, that is in desperate need of both lower oil prices and a different kind of PR spin. And so I think there's a couple of options here, couple of teams that have not done well in this draft.
Sound off in the chat.
I'm going. I don't know. What do you think, Mark? You want me to venture a guess?
Gonna need an answer, guys. Gonna need an answer.
Throw out a guess, Connor, because you're going down that path.
I'm going Patriots.
That is correct. It is Mike Vrabel, Robert Kraft, and the New England Patriots, because my goodness, could they use an ill-advised war in the Middle East to change people's attention and
although it's not working, this is still a bigger news than the current ill-advised war in the Middle East.
And like to extend that parallel, the Epstein files. This is a situation for the Patriots where every time there's a new release of information, it gets a little worse and it gets a little more, seismic. I think we could all agree that we maybe underestimated the Vrabel side of the fallout. And that was in part because in general, you just assumed that Diana Rossini, the reporter in this, would get nuked off the face of the earth. And she's actually now done that in a social media sense. She's now wiped her Twitter clear and she is off the grid as more and more comes out, and photos now that we have more photos from the resort of them in an intimate manner. We have a photo in a downtown New York City bar way back in 2020, like right on the cusp of COVID, by the way. Let's talk about that.
That was Rudy Gobert night.
I mean, that's Tom Hanks started COVID night, and we're canoodling in this bar. And I'll just speak for myself. Underestimated the fallout for Vrabel, but also we didn't know that there was going to be more and more trickling out, and which has certainly happened, which Vrabel, I thought, for the first time, someone did the right PR move, which is stop lying. And I know he didn't come out and acknowledge it outright in his first press conference that he did before the draft, but he made comments along the lines of, I got to do the right thing. I have to practice what I preach. Here was Vrabel, who, by the way, as part of this, is not involved with the team. He's in counseling on Saturday. What? Go ahead, Connor.
We got to talk about this. First do that, and then
So let's listen. Here's a little of Vrabel's press conference where he discussed stepping away from the team in the middle of the draft to address a family emergency.
My previous actions don't meet the standard that I hold myself to. They don't. My family needs me this weekend, and that's where I'll be.
So, Connor, jump in there.
Okay, so two things. What Mike Vrabel was doing there, the subtext of that press conference was to say, this is the biggest moment of our draft picks' lives. Please do not ask them about me hooking up with a reporter. Like, just allow them to have this great night, and then you can ask them about it whenever you want after this, right? That's why he did that. B, it's been leaked that the Patriots are still in constant contact with him this weekend and getting approval of the draft picks. That's not out there. I consider myself a little bit of a therapy expert at this point. Like, you can't just stop in the middle and be like, hold on, let me see if we got this guard out of Tulane here in the 6th round. Like, no, in therapy, you need to be removed from the situation and like looking at the other person and like speaking to them and trying to fix this problem. So I think, like I've said this all along, Josh McDaniels is there. He's been a head coach twice. Not a good one. Maybe one of the worst head coaches in NFL history. But like, just indefinitely step away from the team. Stop filleting yourself publicly. Stop trying to make it look like you're taking the swords for everybody. Like, if a reporter's going to ask about it, he's going to ask about it. Like, you have life stuff that you got to save. Like, disappear until July 26th and no one will care. The storm will eventually blow over. And he's not doing it.
Let me repeat that in case Patriots front office officials are listening, and they obviously respect Conor Orr as a great journalist of his era. Hiring Josh McDaniels as the head coach is an option you can go with, and it's one that you should seriously consider. I personally endorse it. Bring Josh McDaniels, sit him at the head of the table, and let Mike Vrabel sort things out for 1 to 6 years. Mark.
Right, that should clear things up. I mean, here's the thing. Like, he's got teenage and 20-something-year-old kids. If the stuff that he's gone through, like they're all going through with their own friends and non-friends and stuff on social media. Like, and I hear you on the counseling and the therapy stuff, but that's probably the offshoot of one of the most familiar PR moves there is, which is I'm going to go seek help, right? I've got a problem that flared up in public. I'm going to go seek help. Like, you don't go to counseling for 18 straight hours over draft weekend. You're probably maybe starting couples count. Who knows? It's something where it's like there's a time element to it. I never thought he would be completely absent from the draft. I just never did. I think this is a weather-worn PR move when you get into a funnel of public disgrace. And the one thing I thought when I watched Vrabel, I've really never seen him without the alpha energy. He's always that dude, right? Win or lose, like he's hugging all his dudes coming into the locker room after every game. Like, he's the centerpiece. And that energy was stripped from him over the course of this when we've seen him in public. So I think part of it is go away. And when you come back, this team, like, you're the reason that you work with the Titans and now with the Patriots is because of the Mike Vrabel alpha energy and everything else that comes with it. You can't come back with 75% of who you are. So whatever time it takes and whatever's happening in life, let people forget it and come back and be that leader. Otherwise, this is a bigger problem that will track them for the whole year.
Yeah, and I just see this, just to put a bow on it. Somebody in the chat who gives a shit about the story. I mean, beyond it just being a huge sports media story, this is the coach of the Patriots. This is one of the big franchises in the league, and an absolute A-bomb that's been dropped on the organization. And we know there's something they're trying to avoid, because we learned last week that Robert Kraft tried to catch and kill the story. So now we see how much more fallout there is. And I would have never said this 2 weeks ago, but Vrabel not being the coach of the Patriots is in play as an option now. I wouldn't bet on it. And you're a degenerate if you're betting on something like that. But it's had a seismic effect now on the organization in a way I think most of us thought they would be unaffected so much, and they are very much affected. So we have to see how this plane gets landed.
I do think the difference is the league has shown, in fact, they've come out to say no discipline for this.
Right.
Like it's not league mandated.
I'm more
they're looking
Vrabel
past
side
it.
of it.
So
like,
right.
is Vrabel, whatever's happening behind the scenes in his life now, does this end with him stepping away from the team indefinitely? We'll see. All right, let's take a break real quick in the stream. And when we get back, we continue on with draft awards. All right, we are back. Let's go into another round of awards. Connor, back to you.
All right, let's let it rip, baby. My second one, Justin, I have them with a curse word in it. Do I say that, or do I kind of clean it up a little bit? Do I say the non-curse word version of what I said? I'm going to let you be
Justin's in his Titans podcast monologue right now, so you just got to... Oh, he's back.
I think you can say this particular curse word. I think that's okay.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Actually, I'm going to do the other one. Sorry, Justin, not to mess with you. Because this one I think is going to be fun for us to talk about. My next award is the There's Such Thing as Too Much LSD Award. Yeah.
There's such thing as too much LSD. All right, who is a habitual psychedelic drug user? That's where I start, Mark, as we try to figure out who this one is.
And it's not Justin.
It's not Justin. Justin's been ruled out. 1993 Marc Sessler ruled out. Connor at every Dead concert he's ever
high as balls over
been
here.
to ruled out. An NFL figure. I'm a little stumped on this one. Mark, you got
Well,
one?
I would say LSD. If you were to go like Carlos Castaneda, upper Mexico, lower desert area in the United States, maybe deep regions of Arizona or New Mexico. I'm going to go Arizona and say maybe the Cardinals, kind of like, I never really know what you're doing, and you kind of thrown me for a loop.
We got that?
Do you want me to kind of give you a hint?
No, just give us the answer. Just go for it.
All right. So, yeah, the answer is our boy Jimmy Joey Gladstone and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I knew he wasn't good. There was no effing way on the year anniversary of
Turns
the pick.
out we were right about him all along.
There was no way we were going to get through any segment of analysis without Connor coming for his just desserts. Tell us why there's such thing as too much LSD in Duval.
So I guess maybe ketamine would have been the right drug there, and I'm kind of regretting missing the landing there.
Or both.
Gladstone was the Muskian figure of the draft, right? And he's like, oh, what if we come in and turn the ball around? Isn't that mind-blowing? And like, we can draft a guy that plays kicker and punter and quarterback, but it turns out you can't, right? Travis Hunter, full-time wide receiver, allegedly, next year. We'll find out. Or cornerback, whatever. But the first two draft picks were legitimately in this draft where there's only believed to be like 90 good players. Way outside of that realm of like, and I think it's cool when you have that curveball and everyone's like, oh wow, I never really thought of that way. It's less cool when everyone's like, I didn't think maybe two of these people would be drafted, and then you go back to back. So that's what we've gotten from our boy Jiminy Gladstone.
Yeah, and Gladstone, obviously, he stuck his neck out with that huge trade up the board with the Browns, giving up a lot of assets to get Hunter, who knows, could still be an amazing dynamic star in this league. His first year was pretty much sabotaged by injury. So that's why I don't think if Hunter turns out to be a superstar and a franchise-changing talent, it could still happen. But they've already moved the goalpost a little bit, as Connor alluded to, by saying, okay, this two-way thing is a little bit tricky. The needle to thread here is a little tougher than we thought. He's primarily going to be a cornerback on the defensive side of the ball. And now what you're seeing here, if I had to just diagnose it, Mark, this is a GM and an organization that still has a lot of trust in their process and is not afraid to go outside the box. I'll only say this as my last thought. They had a great season last year, and obviously it didn't work out once they got to the playoffs, but they really put it together with Liam Cohen at head coach and and finally getting this consistent Trevor Lawrence season. And so on balance, things are strong in Jacksonville. But if this turns out to be a poorly thought out strategy, he'll be rightfully roasted. We'll have to see.
It feels like the draft, you wouldn't mind being in the position where you weren't dominating pick count in the first round. But I would say that, like, to Connor's point, it's like the nice kind of curveball or surprise is like, oh, Kenyon Sadiq goes to the Jets. I wasn't predicting that, but it's an interesting curveball in the first round of the draft, and you can start to see it. What the Jaguars have going with the Travis Hunter thing is we're starting to see tweets and lists of what the Browns have accrued on the other side of that trade, that they've got 4 starters coming from that one thing. And if you're Gladstone, no one's killing them a year ago for picking that player, because I, for one, thought he might be a revolutionary type player and maybe it's forward thinking, but it was a really challenging player to give to both sides of your coaching staff and have them try to figure out what to do with them. And they're still spinning their wheels there. So when you take a tight end at 56 who's not blown anyone's mind, like they're kind of resting on their laurels from a year ago, because they were pretty quiet in free agency as well. Not a lot of cap space.
I mean, we still haven't had a resolution to the Brian Thomas situation. I think that team in particular and the Patriots are another great example of, like, yes, this was in theory a 14-win season or a 13-win season. You know, you had a lot of success this year. However, like, now is the time to accelerate and to go, and to not say, like, we've found all these hidden gems in this draft that, like, I'm sorry, but, like, universally has been panned for a total lack of depth, right? And so not only do you not have your first round pick, but you take a guy in the second that could have been there with one of your 2 third-round picks. You're probably your 4th round pick. So I don't know. It's not cute to not be able to manipulate the board. I think you should be able to.
Your point is
that.
They're not the Rams. They don't have the benefit of the doubt. We're sitting here wondering why.
And I'll counter that. What were they, 13-4 last year?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but this isn't like this guy took over a year ago and they're coming off a woeful season and now they're taking big swings, and it's like, is this thing going in the wrong direction? I just think, in fairness to the Jaguars and their fans that might be listening, like, there's also evidence that this guy is proceeding over an organization that's going in the right direction.
13-4 with a majority of their best players. I mean, can we think of someone that was brought on by this regime as a rookie that really stood out to you guys? That was someone that was a game changer? Or is it more the guys like, you know, the middle linebacker that you now lost in free agency and is now with the Titans? You know, some of these guys that left that you're not going to pay. I don't know the answer to that. Like, even Etienne, who's now in New Orleans, like, most of the grist of this team was like, hey, Liam Cohen had a great season. He finally made this offense make some sense. And turns out that there was a little bit more talent than we thought on the roster. Yeah. I don't remember a rookie that just blew my mind from that draft class.
And I don't want to sell what Liam Cohen has done short.
100%.
It could be that. And yeah, you look at their draft. Yeah, when you take Hunter, you trade a lot of assets. Obviously, they didn't pick again till round 3. They took Ransaw, the cornerback, out of Tulane at 88 overall. Wyatt Millum, the guard out of West Virginia, at 89 in that draft. The Bashal Tutin, the running back out of Virginia Tech last year. Like that, they are. We have to take the long view of where Gladstone is. At the very least, a 13-4 season gives him more runway to kind of execute his vision of the team. But there will be pressure on him if this draft.
And this isn't Ozzie Newsome. Like, there's a committee of people. When you said they, and that's the right word, I think. It's not Gladstone reigning over everyone making crazy picks, as Connor would assert, on LSD. I'm pretty certain he's not taking tabs of psilocybin.
All right. Back to you, Mark. An award, please.
Okay, an award. Here, the award is.
Wait, before you do it, how many lines, Connor, do you think this will be in the lower third? I'm going to say we're going to move up to 4 lines here. That's a bold move. This is a Joey Gladstone type bold move here. I say 4 lines. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark is an expert at building and building. He's a wordsmith, and so yes. I think what we're going to get really here is kind of the more explosive of the paragraphs. I would say 4 or 5 words. Yeah,
that's what's happening on the non-private chat line that I'm involved in. But here we go. The award is, you don't think I'm in control, but this little man bod might be in charge after all. I have my 10-sided die and my fast boy.
3 lines, damn it. I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns again. So, straight sweep with Mark. No, you don't think I'm in control, but this lil man bod might be in charge after all. I have my 10-sided die and my fast boy. All right. I like this. Mark likes guys and figures in the NFL who are widely panned or criticized and but secretly know what they're doing. So who would qualify and maybe is small in stature?
I have 2 bites at the apple here.
Okay.
I think, and I would not put Mike McDaniel in this category because while short in stature, the pecs, the definition, this guy's he's working out. So I think that's why. And Mark is a recognizes body guy. So I don't know if he's going there necessarily. I think it's Mike McDaniel because so few people take the Chargers and Mike in general seriously as a human because of the bod. I think Mark's in tune with that. He's out there with Mike in LA kind of working out and doing stuff like that. So that's my takeaway.
Yep.
Mark?
Mike McDaniel, essentially in your neighborhood, Dan.
How did you
I thought that was
I don't give a shit about what I feel.
That's a great job by Connor.
Lil Man bod was sort of the screaming.
Yeah.
That
and
was
I
the
got
screaming
halfway
indicator.
there because I know Mark was not on board with Mike McDaniel taking on water in his late Dolphins period. So this is an attempt to rehab the reputation of a figure that he still believes in. So, yeah, we kind of nailed this collectively.
Yeah. So one of the favorite articles because this is a little bit more niche than some of the topics that would come up looking back in the whole draft weekend. But one of my favorite Wes articles that he wrote in the deep spring was this understanding that the New Orleans Saints under Sean Payton with like Mark Ingram were going to start to become like a blistering run game. And he just kind of listed the personnel and went through his thought process. And that's exactly what they became in that season. This is a while back. What I think this draft showed me, and The Athletic pointed this out to some degree too, that this draft shows that Mike McDaniel under Jim Harbaugh had a real say in the draft room. The first player I'd point to is that they took, unlike what they did when Greg Roman and Harbaugh were running the show entirely, they took an undersized interior lineman, a center guard, Jake Slaughter, who works really well in theory for the wide zone scheme that McDaniel will run. Number 1 right there. Then in the 4th round, they took Brennan Thompson, one of the fastest players in the draft, a small wide receiver who is, I believe, about 5'9" and 170 pounds and runs a 4.26 40. These are Mike McDaniel offensive type players for a scheme that could look similar to what he ran in Miami versus plugging him in just to run someone else's scheme. I think it's telling that McDaniel has a real say in the kind of players they're going to use to shape this offense. Will it work? TBD.
I mean, it is another this time of year where we all say, oh, this could be the Charger. They finally have the perfect setup. But I think we all loved the McDaniel hire when it happened. They're kind of strange bedfellows, Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel, but also it might be just crazy enough to be like the greatest pairing of head coach and OC in the league. So I'm always down for it. And shout out to the Chargers. I got to say, I got to give them a little love. You mentioned my own backyard. They are based here in El Segundo, their training facility that opened recently. And they're trying hard to make an imprint. They closed down an entire block of Main Street here in El Segundo for a draft party. I don't know if I haven't met a Charger fan in El Segundo yet, but this is the type of, you need to get boots on the ground and start to win over hearts and minds one day at a time. So opening up like a beer garden and playing a bunch of loud music and putting up balloons and stuff, I'm in support of it, and good luck in your attempt to crack the market, Superchargers.
Mark's thing here is so prescient because as he's saying this, the Chargers release a social media clip of Mike McDaniel walking into the draft room and saying, if you get me Brennan Thompson, I will take my shirt off in the room.
In this whole formula, if you can find a way to get Brennan Thompson, I will take my shirt off in here.
On the record?
On the record.
Hello, Brandon. Hello. You got the draft on behind you?
I do. I'm watching it.
You are? Who's on the clock? The Chargers are all on,
The Chargers are on the clock.
Man, let's make it happen.
Sounds like you got a few people there with you.
Man, I got the fam, I got friends with me, I got everybody over here, man.
All right, well, good. You guys are all going to be screaming and hollering in a couple minutes when your name gets shown on TV.
It's Coach Harbaugh. How you doing?
What's going on, Coach?
Hey, what's up? You're a Charger.
Man, let's do it.
That's as good as it gets. Hey, look at that. There they are.
How we doing, Brandon? What's up, man? Let's go.
What a sweater.
I got a guy right here.
What the hell is
I want you to know how excited, probably the most excited anyone is.
I'm so excited to see you. I see your passion in your eyes. This is the first day of the rest of your life.
Show us that vibe.
Look at that power blue. Yeah, you're gonna do elite
All
stuff.
right. Okay,
Just start running right now. Now go party. Take your shirt off. All right. Thank you.
Huh?
Man, you're not fired up. You are. You're dead.
Well, we didn't get the upper body nudity.
It's wild,
there.
though. I mean,
I thought that was what we're all building to. I wanted to
thought
see
so
some
too.
McDaniel nipple.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. That was a little bit let down by that. I thought that's where this was all heading to, but maybe in time I'll see Mike McDaniel
It
shirtless.
helped
but
my
it is not
segment
today.
offering, though, which is all that really matters
That's good.
in the end.
It gave you an element. That's
Yeah.
good too. So it was successful in that regard. I love the awkward laughter. Like I like a Mike McDaniel, like a dry sense of humor that not everybody always understands whether he's joking or not. Especially you put a guy like that into an NFL war room with a bunch of like serious football heads with no discernible sense of humor. I can't imagine how many Mike McDaniel jokes fall flat on a daily basis inside a football facility.
Right. He's not on every text thread. We can assure that.
All right. Let's move on. Next award.
Okay.
Here's the Daddy's Gone, the Toaster's on Fire, and Marcin was supposed to be picked up from band practice 2 hours ago award.
Well, this would suggest a team completely in a whirlwind and chaos, I would imagine.
Wondering if Marcin is a clue here, trying to kind of draw out and extrapolate maybe if there's a derivative of that name. I have a thought, Mark.
Sound off in the comments.
Throw it out there, Connor. What do you got?
Okay. Just as Jordy here said, I was going to go Vikings. They don't have a GM and then traded one of their best players to the Eagles. And so I feel like that's distracting and should be concerning for people, for sure.
Okay.
I love that because that is a team with major, just a looming question mark there in the front
you
office
love it, but
during
you're
the
wrong.
biggest weekend.
So, but the Vikings, we'll get to the Vikings maybe later today or in time. But it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, because guess what? Daddy's gone. Mike Tomlin's not there anymore. And that's destabilizing. And you want to feel like everything is under control in this new world. Who's the head coach of the Steelers now? Remind me.
Mike McCarthy.
The Zaddy.
Mike McCarthy himself is. So Zaddy's here, but Daddy's gone. And, it was just a little bit of a funky few days for the Steelers. I just got to be real with you. And I know Steelers fans out there, whether they want to admit it or not, it's a little bit uncomfortable. So you had, of course, on Thursday, a very dramatic moment. The Steelers are on the phone with Mekhi Lemon at pick 21, telling him we're going to draft him. The Eagles traded ahead of them. The Steelers don't know. The Eagles are trying to call Lemon to let him know. They can't get through to him because he's on the phone with the Steelers. And so imagine his surprise when the announcement comes in that he's actually going to the Eagles. And we talked about this a little bit on Thursday night, but it bears, you have to reiterate here that then on top of it, the Steelers had to pivot and be like, oh shit, we didn't get our guy. And instead of 10 minutes, we only have 8 minutes to figure out who we're actually going to take. So they take Arizona State offensive tackle Max Ihanachor with the 21st pick. So that was a little weird. GM Omar Khan noted the reduced time on that pivot, saying 2 minutes feel like an eternity. Tough one.
More like Omar can't.
Yeah. Yeah. On Friday, they try to pivot there, and they go and they take Alabama wide receiver Jeremy Bernard. I didn't watch a lot of Jeremy Bernard tape, but I don't like the sound of it. I just don't like the sound of it.
Good player. I like him a lot.
Didn't watch a lot.
Didn't see a lot of the tape. Didn't see a lot. But Jeremy Bernard, not Mekhi Lemon in terms of draft prospects. I hope he has a great career. Former Eagles executive Jake Rosenberg noted Friday that the Steelers may have run afoul of the rules by talking directly to Lemon at a time when the Eagles are attempting to reach him. Florio, because Florio lives for this stuff.
Yes.
He asked the league about the rule regarding calling prospects when another team is on the clock, and he was told the league reviews all aspects of the draft the week after its conclusion. So there's that side of it. And so you have that situation. Then they go, Aaron Rodgers still hasn't formally announced that he's coming back. I mean, come on. So the Steelers, they go and they select, and I'm not saying they made this choice because they don't know, because I think the Steelers know that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, just working under that assumption. But they select Penn State quarterback Drew Aller with the 76th overall pick in the third round of the draft. And as a prospect, he's a little bit shaky. As someone who lived through the Penn State Christian Hackenberg era with the New York Jets, big, tall, strong-armed Penn State quarterbacks that have sloppy footwork and inaccurate arms, that scares me a little bit, but he's in the building. And just as like another note on this, Aller is also a big Cleveland Browns fan growing up, and I think we have a screen grab here. When he got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, he didn't necessarily want to put the hat on, or I don't know if that was something he said formally or that was just something that people put together, but he didn't look thrilled after being taken. And to cap it all off, there was a a woman on day 3 of the draft, from the United Kingdom, a fan of the Baltimore Ravens that got to come out and announce a draft pick of the Ravens, and she could not help herself.
I'll keep this short, like your postseason.
Oh, ouch. Oh. Wow.
With the 133rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Matthew Hibner, tight end, SMU.
Yes. So, yeah, the Steelers, I don't know, just seem to be in a little bit of a weird spot right now. Toaster's on fire. Daddy's gone. Marcine just waiting there with her trumpet.
Interesting couple breadcrumbs here. Max Ahenachor is the player that Vrabel was like wrestling with and had his hands all over on that Arizona State Pro Day right before the Sedona escape, by the way, which is kind of like a fun little breadcrumb in the story. But he needs, this is a guy who needs a lot of development. This isn't a day one ready left tackle, even though the size and the skill might be there. And Aller is the same thing. I saw some people tweeting, okay, well, we can just roll with Aller and Mason Rudolph and we don't need Aaron Rodgers. Are you serious? Like, Aller had one of the most drastic drop-offs in terms of performance and skill from 2024 to 2025 of any quarterback in this market. He lost Tyler Warren, the first-round pick out of Penn State, who went to the Colts. And just when he's under pressure, it seems like he just can't function. And that's not something that you want out of a quarterback at the NFL level. If I was Aaron Rodgers, I'd be more confident that the Steelers need me now that they drafted him. I don't know. This one didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, they didn't cloud the path for Aaron Rodgers at all. I mean, some people like Aller more than Will Howard. I mean, some. Was that a Mike McCarthy pick? I don't know. The Onachor guy, that's who everyone thought was the perfect fit for the Ravens, actually. And I think he's going to be a good player for them. And if it fits the Ravens, it fits the Steelers to some degree. But I just wonder what control level McCarthy has coming in late in the game here in the draft process. And was this what they pictured? They wanted Mekhi Lemon. We would have been singing their praises had that gone correctly for them.
Yeah, I would imagine McCarthy has. He didn't come in that late. I mean, he was hired in January. I would imagine he has to be involved, I would think. But then again, we saw it just happened with the Rams, and you never know.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through our third and final award each. We'll go a little kind of more of a speed round on this one. Go ahead, Connor.
Okay. Now that I know I'm allowed to say it, my award is called The Same Old Shit is Different When I Do It award.
I kind of think this is the Giants. That's where my mind goes, just where my first mind went.
All right, yes or no?
Yes. And so the inspiration behind this was at the bus stop on Friday morning. I have a couple big Giants fans there, and our kids all get on the school bus together. And I thought they'd be walking tall and peacocking. And my one friend just had his head buried in his hands, and he goes, "This is damn Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau all over again. And it was funny how like the honeymoon with Harbaugh ended. I mean, I thought they did a really nice job. I thought Maui Noah is great. I think the whole herniated disc thing, he can play this season and he can play guard. I mean, we've talked about this. I think he's going to be fine. I thought they did a great job. But there are some Giants fans who are tweaking out over the idea that they still haven't traded Kayvon Thibodeau. They have a surplus of pass rushers. Now they have no interior defensive line play to open up the lanes for these pass rushers. And so I could see this, Tiffany franchise facade cracking a little bit. It's kind of fun.
I feel like Giants fans, and we all know a lot of them, like more than any fan base among my friend group, come out of every draft saying we won the draft. Like they seem to have this insane confidence that they did. But I look at this draft and think they did do a good job. I just think they did do a good job. Was it more Harbaugh-ish than the past? I get what you're saying with that, but like to get Colton Hood where they did, like Maui was good. I mean, I think that Kayvon could be traded when a team has more of a need than right now. But like when they won those 2 Super Bowls over the Patriots, a lot of it had to do with stacking edge rusher on top of edge rusher back in the day. So I don't hate adding edge rushers at all, but it is a little bit of like, did you have other direction you could go there? We'll see.
I could tell you what's happening here. A lot of Giants fans are also Yankees fans, and we are very in our own heads about the lack of World Series titles, so we're always bitching about it, especially internally amongst one another. And Giants fans got used to a certain standard in the last 30 years or so, but I'm going to read you their records since the Odell Beckham yacht incident that preceded their wild card loss way back in 2016. 3-13, 5-11, 4-12, 6-10, 4-13, 9-7-1, 6-11, 3-14, 4-13. There is a exhaustion for a fan base that isn't accustomed to being bad like this year after year, and I agree. I agree, though, that you would think John Harbaugh would be an anecdote to this. I kind of think he is. I'm not quite getting that, Connor, and Giants fans that I've talked to. I think they do believe that Harbaugh is the guy that's going to bring stability. I've already said on this show that I think they're going to take a big step up this year, and I think this was a strong draft class for them. But there's also, yes, a level of frustration that's seeped into the organization because they've just been so inept for so long, really, for the most part, since Super Bowl 46.
And I'd ask you, do you like it better than having Dexter Lawrence on the roster? Because that's how we got here with the number 10 pick.
Well, so that's the other part of this, right? If I'm the Giants, I think part of me is scared, and maybe I'll live to regret these words, that the Bengals, and I like the Bengals scouting department a lot more than I think other people do. It's notoriously small, but the reason that it's so good is because a lot of the coaches end up having to do a lot of the scouting, and so the coaches and the scouts are intertwined more in Cincinnati than they are in other places. For all of them to have reviewed these draft classes and reviewed these prospects and to have been so certain about the fact that they would give up the number 10 pick for Dexter Lawrence would be scaring me if I'm the Giants. And I have a lack of interior help. Again, to free up Arvell Reese, and is there a plan to play him as both an inside linebacker and an edge on pass rushing downs? And if so, how's that going to look? These are fair questions that I think may crack the Harbaugh facade a little bit, just because you can't be blindly confident in anything these days.
You cannot. Blind faith in your leaders or anything will get you killed. Bruce Springsteen. Giants fan? Maybe. Probably. Definitely not a Jets fan. All right, Mark, give us one. Speed round.
Okay, here's the award. It's a beautiful time to take Thursday into Friday off within our scenic homeland, where we play flute and eat trinkets off durable bone china plates and remain largely removed from our industry. By the way, not far from where John Bonet kissed off.
Oh, good God. I mean, Jesus, Mark.
What?
Almost got to the fourth line on this one. John Bonet kissed off. Are you referring to the young girl who was murdered in her home in Boulder, Colorado in 1996?
Do you know anyone else named John Bonet?
Sick. It's got to be that context clue from a notorious true crime case in our country 30 years ago. It has to be the Denver Broncos.
It is. They get my award for being that one team that can kind of just close down shop. Just close down shop for like 48 hours, and they did their work.
I mean,
another time.
Yeah, they didn't quite reach the summit in the NFL, but any Broncos fan will tell you that they just thought that they got the old Montreal screw job in January by fate, and they like their roster. But go on, Mark.
Well, I mean, they did what they had 2
fourth-round
picks.
Can I just say they never found John Benet Ramsey's killer? And this is the type of thing that a cold case FBI agent, this might get flagged. That's all, Mark. So if you get a knock at your door in the next 48 hours, just understand that it wasn't for no reason.
Well, I brought up John Benet multiple times in the past, but if this is the one that gets on the radar, I'll accept that. I mean, I think it's time for us to make that not a cold case. But they just had to forage through a draft where you're picking first a defensive tackle at 66. It's interesting, that guy Andrew Brandt, who likes to comment about his Packers time from multiple decades ago. But no, he's like a former front office guy. But he was saying that with the NIL, that a year ago, I thought this was an interesting tweet, that a lot of front office people thought that the draft basically ended with like the 5th round, that anything happening in the 6th and 7th was beyond the pale, but that this year the draft really ended after the 3rd round. And it's their NIL reasons for this, where less players are shoving themselves into the process because they're getting paid. But we're watching the draft complex and the scenery change before our eyes. And so if you are a team like the Broncos and you're on the cusp of being a Super Bowl team, you think you are, like a big draft, if they had one of these other drafts we talk about, it would have been really helpful. I love the roster. It could be arguably the third best roster in the AFC from a certain point of view, but I don't know how you come out of this draft thinking that you've done much to change the scenery. So it's kind of like, rinse and repeat. And I hope that doesn't always work.
We shall see. All right. My last one. This is just more like, just here's the award. The Just Pay Me Now, bitches, because this bet is already cashed out award. Just pay me now, bitches. Konnichiwa, bitches. I don't even need to hear you figure it out. Geno Smith, that's the winner. And my wager, Geno Smith, who you guys don't think has any chance to be effective with the Jets.
I hate this
team. Look at Geno Smith. Look at what he has around him now. A plus offensive line. A healthy Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson on one side. Omar Cooper on the other. Kenyon Sadiq, athletic freak. Ooh, that rhymes. And all I got to do is have a representative season.
I'm recording this so I can play it back when the.
I mean, it already is being recorded, but double checking is good too. All I need to do is hit a couple of markers and claim my winnings from you buffoons that Geno Smith will be a top 15 quarterback this year. Cash out, baby. Cashing out.
He's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land.
I would say, I was trying to figure out, I assumed you were going to go Jets, but I couldn't quite figure out from your clue. But this is also a great setup for who probably becomes the quarterback a year from now, or who is drafted to work with what will be a second-year Omar Cooper and a second-year Kenyon Sadiq, and probably not Frank Reich at that point. The winds of change are still there, but it is big for Geno Smith to have some actual weapons around him. If you look at their offense, it's like if you took the Jets' history and name and uniform off what they are on paper on offense, I don't hate it for them to be like an 8 or 9 win type situation.
I'm not talking about the Jets winning wins and losses. I'm talking specifically about Geno Smith's production with an offense that went from arguably the worst in the league last year, skill player-wise, to something really potentially spicy. Let's go.
They could be. And why? And I think Geno Smith could do that, Connor. I think Geno Smith has done it before. I'm not the biggest fan, and Dan, you weren't the biggest fan until about 2 months ago. But, I get what you're seeing a little bit. And I think, weren't our challenges around Geno Smith pretty pedestrian?
Geno. Well, okay. Geno.
There was a lot made about the family who invented OxyContin because they addicted so many people. But the ability of the NFL to force us to forget our worst impulses and arrive back to this place where we think it's okay to believe in certain things every year is It should be studied. It's phenomenal that we are here in the year of our Lord and Savior in 2026.
Yeah, they wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
No, they didn't.
That's the problem. I ain't right back. Let's go.
They wrote him off, and now he's back, baby.
My God. I mean, just unbelievable.
How do you, when
you're as high as Justin right now?
Right, when you tumble,
as high as Justin. We talk about Justin doing,
and I never want to come down because Gino is gonna be soaring.
There's no
we might
difference.
keep him around. We might sign him to another contract.
There is no difference between the kratom that is banging its way through Justin's bloodstream right now and what Dan is feeling on this podcast. It truly is unbelievable.
Dan is on a natural high of some sort. I don't understand from a flip side when you lie down in your...
is this an app? Is this a new
How
app?
do you sleep
And
at
now,
night?
Another edition of Sippin' on Vino, Checkin' on Gino.
Oh, we're checking in, and it's good.
Another app. What are we doing here?
We already have like a Mandalorian side vehicle on this ready to roll. Jesus, God,
unbelievable!
Holy shit!
What am I going to do with my winnings? That's the only question. Cessy, and it sounds like you're annoyed, but guess what? I'll give you a chance to get out of the bet right now because it doesn't sound like you're even feeling like you're on the right side of it anymore.
I'm willing to double down, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm staying in the bet. I'm more questioning the mental health you're exhibiting around the home front. But
Shoosh, he's a caveman.
I ain't cashing out FanDuel. I'm doubling down.
Let's take a break and we'll finish up. Oh, baby, we are back. Thank you to everybody on the live stream. Justin, if you could pull together a few messages from the people watching along, and thank you not just for today and Thursday, but all season long. We look at this as the end of our year, starting with the beginning of training camp to the end of the NFL draft. And for year 2 of our program, Mark, I couldn't be more proud of what we've been able to build, what we can do going forward. And of course, none of it's possible without the hedonists.
Yeah. And I think it's like we have honed in on our family, and Conor has been a huge, vast part of this past season. I've really never had more fun covering a year or covering football with the group of people that I'm doing it with right now. So like, off we go.
Well said, buddy. Well said. All right.
And if the next league year doesn't open till training camp, I'll see you then. That's what, late July. I'll check back in late July or maybe even early August.
It's not like we're going to be going away. We'll be having multiple episodes per week until then. But yes, that's just the cycle of the season. All right, some odds and ends. We mentioned the Giants and the optimism around them in some places, and maybe a more guarded mentality in others. Speaking of guarding and protection, new Giants offensive tackle Francis Mauigoa. See, getting there.
Nailed it.
This was his Laura Rutledge conversation on Thursday, and a bit of a trope alert, and one that, I mean, I don't know. Like, I understand for a long time. Well, let me say, play it, and then I'll tell you my thoughts about it.
I'll die about this shit, man. Man, I'm ready to die for you, man. I know a lot of things has happened, bro, but I'm ready to die for you, bro.
That was a message from Francis from Francis to Jackson Dart, his new quarterback. And we hear it all the time. Offensive linemen and in general, the connection. Yeah, the connection between football and war is a very American thing, and this idea that as an offensive lineman, like, you're willing to give up your life for your quarterback. There's a connection there from like the private protecting his sergeant or whatever it is. Like, but I don't know if we need to do it. It just seems like a strange thing that you would go up in the biggest moment of your life and say that you would die for some guy that you maybe have never met before. But I understand the sentiment. It's just a very offensive lineman thing that I never kind of get used to.
Yeah, I think theoretically he's more helpful alive for the Giants. That's probably the start and end of it for me.
Yeah, just don't die. I don't think we need to go there.
I'll do anything for this guy, and I'll work hard, and I can't wait to build up a bond between him because I want to protect him. The die thing, it's in no other position in the league or in sports in general is this something what people say, unless you're a fucking tackle, in which case you almost have to say that you would sacrifice yourself for the quarterback, which is there's if you really want to dig in, there's some classism going on here too, in addition to the war parallels. Let's just lose it.
Not even that I'll do anything. I will, between the hours of 9 and 5 on weekdays, and then 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. on weekends, do my best for you. That's it. That's what's in the terms of the contract.
That would have gone. That quote would have gone over well with the public. We wouldn't. That would have been a winner.
All right. Up next, we have some video here. Our buddy and KC Star beat man Pete Sweeney was boots on the ground in Pittsburgh this weekend. The Chiefs. What did the Chiefs do? Let's take a quick look at the Chiefs draft board.
Did a little trade up.
Mansour Delane, yes, they traded up for the cornerback. Then they took Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson, with their second first-round pick at 29. I believe Pete has a little dispatch around Woods, who beefs up, obviously, the interior of that front line of the Chiefs defense.
What's up, Hedonists? Pete Sweeney here in Kansas City. This happened on Thursday night, and I had to share it with you guys. Here's Andy Reid talking about Clemson's Peter Woods.
The allure of being sort of an understudy to Chris Jones.
Yeah, two different size guys, but both good athletes. So I think that's what he gives. He gives you that quickness. I'm not. You can say Aaron Donald type quick. Well, he's not Aaron Donald. You can say Aaron Donald.
Now, people call the Sess dog a lot of different things. Some say he's the quiet storm. Others may refer to him as a fleeting texter. But there's no doubt now the Y add-on makes Mark the tastemaker of the NFL.
That's true. Y, Ramsey, Ravensy, Coltsy, Donaldsy. It's a thing.
He's
it's
a top
trend.
10 football
Mark.
insider.
It's bubbled up. I'm a little surprised with how many references I'm getting linked to around the league. I also understand the critique I've received from various people saying, no matter if you said that or not and called something Lionsy, the -y on the back end of a word is not something you created in the human lexicon. I get that, but inside this little
We don't need to even say that.
No, inside of this self-satisfied community,
Right.
I do feel like there was some anchoring effect there, and I appreciate Pete's hair. I appreciate the overall appearance and the kind words and the understanding of what's occurred here.
Maybe one day you could actually text him in good faith. That would close up everything in terms of a loop. Any type of gap here.
Let's check in down the road, Connor.
While we're on a size thing, I just want to bring this up really quickly because this crystallized for me like at midnight last night while I was watching or catching up on everything. And every pick where there's a large person, like Mike Greenberg or whoever's doing the draft is like, this guy's 6'5", 350 pounds. And it's like, yeah, he should be. Like you would only emphasize the size if it was like, the Texans drafted a guard out of Georgia Tech who's 5'8", 190. Like that's like then you emphasize it because it's like, my God, that's not right. That's different. All of these people are the largest people we have ever seen. Why are we still surprised by that? It just really bothered me. I don't know.
No, it's fair. Connor, it's absolutely fair, and I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Thank you.
So Sweeney, and thanks to Pete for hooking us up with that intel from Andy Reid. Obviously, on the other side of things, Mark, there is the unfortunate circumstances around the mock draft results where Lance took his W. I haven't had a chance to check if he's been doing a real victory tour around it, but I did get tagged in this tweet just on that side of things. Guys, I'm a professional. This isn't just a hobby or something I chat about with people at my yoga class like Mark. This is real life. Your retort an official statement, Mark?
Well, I'm all the way back in on this competition. I was about to say pretty words about Lance and concede what happened this time around.
Yoga class, Mark. Yoga class.
I haven't been to a yoga class since like 2006, and I don't even know why I did that once. It's like teachers trying to fix my neck. You're really tight around the shoulders and neck area. Like, I was like, I'm good. I'm not coming back.
I could guess why you were there. Maybe the woman with that exotic accent.
I didn't go back.
I know,
but
my Ceci.
Like he's like Lance isn't all wrong about all things, but I don't love the tone. It's the tone. It's the.
What, you got a sex addiction? You got a problem with sex?
If the Rams were hubristic,
sex?
what is this?
Sex addiction
right?
or something?
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Let's see. Anyway, yeah, the grudge match, the rubber match, it's coming up.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to be excited about it. In other news, Greeny. Oh, yeah, the voice of the Jet fan in national media, Mike Greenberg. A little bit of a boner during the live telecast when the Cleveland Brownies selected wide receiver Denzel Boston. Let's listen in.
So there you are, Mel. That's another player whose name you were waiting to hear called. You remember his dad, David Boston, first-round pick out of Ohio State in 1999. Denzel, 125 catches and 20 touchdowns the last 2 years.
Okay, and later in the telecast, I believe Greeny, the voice of Jets fans across the world, offered a retraction and an apology.
The Cleveland Browns traded out of the spot just a moment ago. I was waiting for them to come around again so that I could make an apology to Denzel Boston, who earlier tonight I misidentified as being the son of former NFL receiver David Boston. It was a mistake in my research. It's a terrible one, and I apologize to them both. They are not related to each other, and so I apologize to both David and Denzel Boston, and congratulations to Denzel.
Did he say a mistake in our research?
No, mine.
Okay.
My mistake, and I apologize.
Okay, I was about to roast him for passing the buck, but no, he owned it.
Justin, do you know what this is, Justin?
I was going to say the same thing. Yep.
This is a 22-year-old at ESPN Googling this guy, and Grok comes up at the top of the screen
He
and
got
says
grokked.
he's related
A
to...
Grok spike.
Thank you. All right, someone else knows.
Yep.
This is exactly what this was.
When they drafted him, it's like, I want to go do some research on him. The first thing that popped up from the AI slight text at the top of the Google search was this exact fact. So this was, to be fair to Greenberg, this was put into his ear, I guarantee.
Yep.
Justin.
Put into his ear.
Yeah. AI hallucinates. You got to know when to check what it's telling you. And if you don't, then you end up probably fired, like the research intern who probably doesn't. I mean, I don't know anything about
the dumbest thing we've ever
I do know how the
had
business
to
works,
talk
and I
about.
know that because we all did it for years at NFL. Somebody puts together a research packet with a bunch of stats and info and facts, and then a producer gets in Greenberg's ear and says, or somebody hands him a card with a bunch of facts, and he's just reading off the list, or he picks his favorite one to say, and
that's it. That's how Dan, mistakes are made. Yes.
Dan, don't you feel like the issuing of the apology, I just would call it a little precious. Like, we get it. It was a mistake. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of bullets flying. Like, the issuing, this long-winded issuing that I might have had your father wrong. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
apologizing
is if in the first place it was some type of serious aggrievement to the entire Boston family. It's something you do clean up in the back end. I'm glad he did.
Yes.
But just apologize to the audience. I think the Boston family is going to live. I think I think old man Boston probably wasn't too hurt by it. It was just a, classic boner. By the way, Ty Simpson said on Friday that he has not heard from Matthew Stafford. By the way, welcome to Los Angeles, Ty Simpson. This is great. I mean, we haven't heard from the quarterback. We haven't heard from the head coach. Ty Simpson said Friday he hasn't heard from Matthew Stafford, but he did hear from, Matt Stafford's wife, Kelly.
Kelly has actually texted me on Instagram and has welcomed me. Told her to hit her up with my family if she we ever need anything. But I can't wait to talk to Matthew. I mean, I'm super ecstatic because I just want to pick his brain about everything, soak up all that knowledge. Like that dude is just how he goes about things is super awesome. And
I think that's. She DM'd you in Instagram. It wasn't a text. A text is a much more personal thing. This was a DM sent or a message, even in a tweet. But Kelly Stafford has welcomed Ty into the fold, but not Matt. Maybe it's happened since then.
I mean, this is like I'm trying to think of the least welcoming thing, and it would be just like a DM that is slammed underneath 165 like you're not friends with this person, so you have to click the other screen to read them things, and it's probably just like 100 Rams fans being like, "We wanted Vega from Penn State. I hope you die," and then just like a message from Kelly Stafford that's like, "Hey, let me know if you need a good brunch spot."
Yeah. All right, Jerry Jones. Here's a image of him taking a photo. Jera had a good old time. Here's Jera taking a photo from the wrong side of the iPhone during the Caleb Downs presser. Jera clearly at this point feeling no pain after another fantastic night as owner of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, what a life Jerry Jones is living. Did we mention that Bill Clinton crashed the Cowboys pre-draft presser a couple of days earlier? Like, if you just based on reporting and social media around the Cowboys, you would assume they've won 7 of the last 10 Super Bowls. Just life is so good for the Cowboys, but
they seem to assume they have. Dallas.
All right, let's see. All right. Logan Jones, because he was the 57th overall pick, will receive a lifetime supply of ketchup from the Kraft Heinz Company. Okay.
Define lifetime, though. This stuff is crap.
Right. How often, I don't know. I was thinking about the ketchup in my own fridge. Like, okay, you use it. Maybe if you have kids, you use it more. But
I have a 5-year-old boy. We use a lot of ketchup. Give me a lifetime supply of ketchup. I'll
Heinz
rip
is
through
the
that
gold
thing.
standard.
Yeah,
I know. I'm not critiquing.
I disagree with that. Connor.
I'm not critiquing Heinz. I'm saying, like, if you got sent a box of 24 ketchups, and then the next month they sent you 24 more ketchups, I'm starting to regift it to people. I don't need. How much is it?
I could
put it down.
Yeah, if you gave me a pallet, right? If you gave me a pallet, I could put it in the garage and just I'm grabbing one every 3 or 4 months, depending on if you have kids, because ketchup goes way faster when you have kids.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just not too much.
But don't send me 10,000 bottles of Heinz 57. What do you, Connor? You like you go to ShopRite and you get the off-brand 57? Or
no. Where did that come from? No.
Oh, I thought you said you weren't. You didn't think that Heinz made a good ketchup product.
Oh, no, I think Heinz makes a fine ketchup product. I think they make the best ketchup product. If we're now, do we want to get into? There's different kinds of things you could do with it. You could add garlic. Like there's upscaling, and certainly like Heinz is on the lower end of that. Like they don't do a good job upscaling it. But yeah, I'll rip Heinz.
Like a Heinz 67, if you will, just like a turbocharged version.
Sir Kensington makes a nice ketchup.
Certain like dining experiences would bring you an exotic ketchup that you won't soon forget, but probably couldn't buy in a store.
Like a truffle ketchup.
Right.
Yeah.
If someone's naming it catsup, spelling wise, like I am a hard avoid.
If you are at a steakhouse, little guy code. Let's take it inside. It's the Guy Code podcast. If they try to upsell you on ketchup or whatever, they always try to get you with those sauces that you get with your steak. Just make sure they don't soak you there. Like that should not be an add-on. Don't pay $7 for their dipping sauce. You know what I'm saying? Just be careful out there.
Don't
guys.
soak.
And finally, some feedback from somebody on Twitter on Thursday night. Rahil offers, Dan, wait, just listening to day one draft recap, and you legit didn't give 5 seconds to talk about the actual Bears pick, just 4 minutes of Encino Man chatter. I demand time allotted to the Bears. This is nonsense. First of all, shush. He's a caveman. I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. Here's the good news. Next week on Heed the Call, we will be hitting every team because it is the annual Around the AFC in 48 minutes, Around the NFC in 48 minutes. And here's my little promise to Rahil, Sessy. I'm going to use... Here's my promise to you. I will use one of our 3 timeouts to get even deeper on the Bears, to give the Bears a little bit of extra time. That I just think I want to make things right with Rahil. I don't want anybody to come out of our show feeling like they were cheated, Sessy.
Yeah, I think Rahil is going to get what he wants here. But if you're going to go public against Dan in a matter like this, what we might get is was there an Encino Man 2? Did they have a follow-up to that film? Or can we dig deeper into that film? That might occur too.
I don't recall. I think what happened was Pauly Shore's career took an unfortunate downturn in the years after Encino Man, which led to, unfortunately, the need, I would say, for an Encino Man sequel lessened in the industry. And
it's a void sitting out there. I think that it's
yeah,
plug it up.
Yes, Connor.
Just really quickly, just don't want to move off the Encino Man talk here, but
sure.
Garrett Nussmeier still hasn't been drafted, and this is totally insane. We're in the 7th round. We thought that Garrett Nussmeier was going to be a top 5 pick this year out of LSU, and the Commanders just took a quarterback out of Rutgers. And I live in New Jersey, so this is very surprising to me. Named Ethan Kalakamanis.
Cool.
And Garrett Nussmeier still hasn't been drafted.
What do they know about Nussmeier?
Yeah, what is the word out about Nussmeier?
I wonder, because his dad's the offensive coordinator of the Saints. I wonder if...
No, his dad is David Boston.
I wonder if they ask teams not to draft him at this point because he wants to go somewhere and he is refusing to play somewhere. I don't know. Log into that one. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. All right, check that out. All right, Justin, can we check in with the people on the stream before we say goodbye? Anything that jumps out? Maybe our super chats or whatever. You got me.
We got some
Take us
super
home.
chats. Here's one from Pats fan Ben. Do any of the heroes have a day 3 darling?
Nussmeier.
Yeah, definitely
Nice
Nussmeier.
Heinrich Harburg, the Taysom Hill out of Nebraska. I'm trying to find out where he's going right now. So we'll see what happens.
Here's one from CJ.
I was waiting for Mark's.
Oh, sorry. Mark, you have studied the draft more than anyone here. Who's your day 3 darling?
I am my day 3 darling, and my day 3 darling era begins in about 12 minutes.
All right, next.
Chris Watgen checking in from my godson's first Holy Communion. We'll catch the show later today, but wanted to say love the live streams and thank you for the super chat donation.
Shout out to your godson and his second Holy Sacrament. We love doing the streams. We like to pick them at the right times, big league events, playoff games, obviously Super Bowl. And maybe we'll dot the landscape in the offseason with a couple just to mix things up. So thank you, Chris, as always, for your support.
Here's a comment that came at 4:37 Central Time from Mark. Why do I feel like Justin has completely missed my super chat? Because 40 minutes before that, he said, "Good evening from the UK, gents. Keep up the good work. As a Pats fan, it makes me sad that the Jets have had a pretty good draft." I did not miss it. We just saved it for the end.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Mark. And if a Patriots fan or a New England sports fan is nervous or worried in any way, that makes me feel good as well. So thank you. What else?
Right. This is the last super chat. Then I have a few comments
Sure.
we can hit. E. Lindiel says, "What did the heroes think of Pittsburgh? As a native, I was proud of my beautiful city."
I didn't go, but I'll just take this one. Every city's the same. No city is special. Your city that you are in is not special. Every city has a river walk and a thing where it's like, oh, we can eat outside or inside. And like every city has a brewery and none of them are spectacular and they're all dog shit. So.
Okay. And let me offer.
Connor just says crazy stuff.
Let me just utter a counter to that, which is Pittsburgh, from my perspective as a fan watching from home. Beautiful, the three rivers, the bridges, the energy of one of the great football towns in America. It shone through in the biggest of all spots. Just a wonderful event.
If you slap up a picture of Pittsburgh right now, and then you slap up a picture of like Ypsilanti, Michigan, we're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Connor is strategically doing something through the vehicle of
no
the
strategy
show.
Here.
No.
Every city is the same.
It's a winning
Every city is the
strategy
same.
because he's taken on like 7 or 8 European and international territories and countries. And now he's starting to focus his sights on U.S. cities. I don't know if you've ever driven at night through the tunnel where you come out and you see the three rivers lit up. It's beautiful. And you'd think I'd be the first to take a shot at it.
I have cousins and nieces, nephews who I love more than anything in the world who live in Nebraska, and they said, "Come visit us in Nebraska." And so I did, and they said, "This is the cool that had a name. It was like the Owl, the downtown or whatever." And I was like, "Cool. We have this in Morris County, New Jersey. Like every city is nothing about your city is charming, is spectacular. Every city is a copy of every other city, and they all have the same 8 things. And just realize that none of you are special. None of your cities are special.
And you're all gonna die. Is that the final point we want to tag on there?
If you want to.
All right. What else we got?
The Bird wants to know if I will be going clean shaven for the wedding or light stubble. Jessica does not like when I straight razor shaving cream clean shave, so I'm not going to go full clean shave. I am going to take my clippers, the electric clippers, and go as short as those will go, but that will leave a tiny bit of stubble, which I think that's probably my best.
Make sure the carpet matches the drapes there.
Yeah, do you shave full body for a huge human event like this?
I'm still body rocked by the idea that the wedding invitation says black tie, garden party attire required, and I'm just like scrambling looking at my closet and be like, what do you wear when you're going to a high society event in North Texas? Holy shit.
We have updated the wedding website with an FAQs, facts and questions, if you will.
Jesus Christ.
Section.
I already bought a suit.
This wedding's got to get here.
The first one is about the attire and what you're supposed to wear. So check that out, Dan.
I will check out the website.
Literal coat, Justin.
All right, what else?
Yeah, that's great, Mark.
Justin's dressed. Yeah, Mark's dressed for the wedding already. What else?
Hunt VPN wants to know, what's Dan's dad, Keith, think about this? He didn't need to know, and this is referring to the Geno Smith bet ongoing on the show.
I think my dad has a little more trepidation. He was never a Geno Smith fan than I do, so I wouldn't say we were parked in the same garage on this one, but my dad is also optimist, sports optimist by heart. He doesn't have the fatalistic streak that me and so many other Jets fans do. So I think he's just going into the Jets season with a clean slate. That's one thing that I wish I had more of myself, but I think I just listened to too much sports talk radio and read too many articles growing up where I just have that streak where, everything's going to go wrong. My dad has a very clean slate, like, let's see how the season goes, look to it, but he was never a big Geno fan and didn't lament him leaving the team. So I think there is a segment of Jets fans that are more modest about the goals of this season.
Give us a couple lines of how he would talk on the phone about the Jets. And
Danny, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? You think Geno should be back? I don't know, Danny. I don't know. I'd bring back Ryan Fitzpatrick. That would be good. Shout out to Keith Hanzus back in New York. All right, a couple more. Wow, read it. You could read it, Justin. Sorry.
All right.
Step on your moment here.
What is I have Vonin wants to know. Wow, the Browns sure are spending a lot of draft capital on offense, and they have a QB off a blockbuster trade and multiple young quarterbacks. Surely this team is set up well for 2026.
I can't tell if it's Justin's inflection that is matching the comment, or this is an actual comment that is positive in nature and optimistic about the Cleveland Browns. I guess you could read into it however you want, but the Browns had a good draft.
It's a very fluid language system the person is using, because you're right. You could read it any way you want, and I think there's a little bit of sass involved, and if that's the case, next tweet.
I want to hear Ed Sessler's take on the Cleveland Browns in 2026.
I think he would be pretty apathetic about the Cleveland Browns at this point. It's not done anything for the
Your dad still chapped that in like 1996 he had to drive Mark to Cleveland to watch a game.
As I will say quickly, he flew me to Cleveland as a surprise to see Bernie Kosar face the Steelers in 1988 in November on Bernie Kosar's birthday.
Shout out to Ed Sessler, and a reminder to all dads listening that a gesture like that will stay with the child forever.
Yes.
Be nice to your kids. All right.
All right, last one I've got here.
Hey, just be a good dad.
Comes from
Put it on a
Pat
t-shirt.
DK.
Give me the residuals.
I will say I tried ketamine twice. The first time felt neat enough to try again. The second scared me so much I will never again.
Yeah, don't do drugs, everybody. There's
Cool.
the other thing I'm going to put on a shirt. Thank you for that one, Justin. Can we go out on something a little bit trenchant and on topic with what we try to do on the show?
Sure. How about this nice, positive, glowing feedback?
That was going to be your last one, huh?
That was my plan. I thought it was a fun way to end it, but
Jesus Christ,
just on fire up there today.
The people versus power. So happy I found Heed the Call. OG listener back in 2011 when Around the NFL was at the end of Dave Damashek's pod. Listened from 2011 to 2020. Still miss Chris Wessling and happy to reconnect now.
Simply, Mark, incredible that Justin had to choose between two. A drug abuser talking about the multiple times he did ketamine and this as a closer to the season. I'm glad this is where we landed.
Yeah, it's a pretty vibrant look into the mind of Justin at this point in time on this broadcast.
But yes, thank you to the people v. Power. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Justin and his great production. Thank you to all our contributors. Thank you to Conor Orr for really season 2 MVP. You got to give it to Orr. Just to moving that needle. And we didn't even draft Ty Simpson, so like there's nothing to worry about. No awkward press conferences for us to deliver. So yes, thanks to everybody. We're not going away. We're not going anywhere. In fact, we'll be back first thing Tuesday with Around the AFC in 48 minutes, followed by in our next show Around the NFC in 48 minutes. Just a lay of the land post free agency, post draft, pre voluntary mini the wheel of optimism. It's back, Sessy. Put a bow on it, Mark.
Thank you to everyone that spends time with us. We love you guys. Tell them what to do, Dan.
No, stretch. Connor, jump in.
Seriously, there's nothing like every city has a brewery and like one good restaurant, and it's hard to find bathrooms. Like there's nothing special.
Heed the call.
Guys, by now you've heard me talk about Collars & Co., makers of the Dress Collar Polo. They've already sold over 1 million of these amazing shirts. Well, Collars & Co. just came out with the new Maverick Performance Blazer. This blazer is sharp and wrinkle resistant, so you can travel anywhere with it. Just throw it in your bag and it will remain wrinkle-free. It even comes with security zip pockets, a sunglasses loop, and an optional pocket square. So visit collarsandco.com and use code TIKI for 20% off at collarsandco.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.